Hey, what's up everyone? So I'm going to do this video today instead of tomorrow because it's Father's Day tomorrow and I'm going to be busy. Some of you guys might be busy. So we'll just do it today. I have three pairs I'm going to be showing you guys. So I'm looking at gold, I'm looking at the pound Aussie, and I'm looking at the pound yen. So let's start with gold and then we'll work our way up this list to the pound yen. I have these two pairs that I'm just kind of watching. I'm not really trading them right now, so um, let's start with the pound yen. Or sorry, let's start with gold. So let's go to the 3-day chart. All right, we're going to start here at the 3-day chart. And what I'm seeing is this spike low. And as you guys know, I've been really wanting to see 1780s hit again. And it's possible that we're actually going to see that happening this week, depending on the reaction we get from where price is at right now. So let's dive into that. We got this spike right here, and then price pushed up into this area and actually tapped this 3-day low right here, and then it sold off. Then we made another push up here, but it closed very bearish. Then we had a pause day right here, and this day pushed up, or sorry, this 3-day candle pushed up all the way up into here, which is a 1-day um, area of liquidity, and then it closed all the way down here, right? In the following day, what did it do is it pushed up to 1857, and then it rejected that area, and it rejected these lows and actually closed under right here, so under 1842. So what that tells me is this candle right here, price was just simply grabbing orders right here and fulfilling sells before we take off to the downside again. So let's go to the daily time frame, and you can see this candle right here, the body of this candle. This is that supply zone. Pretty much this whole area you could do, all of these bodies of the candle, doesn't matter. Um, you can see that was very, very, very briefly tapped the other day, earlier this week, and we shot down, right? We broke all the structure, we broke all the lows, and we actually tapped out 1807 right here. And then we got an immediate turnaround. And then Thursday, we had that crazy news with the FOMC interest rate decision, and that caused some volatility in the market. However, you can see Friday we end up closing below that level I had marked up. And what I would really like to see is the next few days, this or at the start of the next week at least, a push down on gold into this low, and possibly what I'm really looking for is this low right here at 1787 to be hit, and from there obviously we would be trading a just trending buys up into probably new all-time highs over the next while. But before that, when I look at the structure, right, we have 1, 2, 3, absolute dump, breaks all the structure. We're getting a pullback into the area of liquidity, and now we're just going to see that continue to unfold. So I have these lows marked, as you can see right here, the low or the open and close of these candles. So I'm going to push it, I'm going to put the line like right there. So right there is where that starts. And I could do the top two, but let's go to the 4-hour time frame, and I'll delete this for now. And what I see is, hold on, I gotta adjust this. There we go. Price pulled up. Let's check the Fibonacci on it. So it pulled up right between this gold is the 0.618 and the green is the 0.786 Fibonacci. So it pulled up right in between those levels, and that's where we're seeing the rejection from. And what I would like to see on the following week, specifically the next daily candle, is price to pull up into this area, so right around 1850, and then continue to dump sideways. So one thing I also want to note is I marked up, I had these highs of these two wicks right here and just kind of this general area marked up when price was down here. As it started exploding Thursday, I just marked this level and told myself, if it comes up here and rejects, then it probably is going to sell off and going to continue down. And as we can see, that is exactly what it's done so far. So that is why I'm really betting on these sells happening. And I don't see a super good example over here. So on the 2 hour time frame, which is a very beautiful time frame for gold, um, you can see price pulled right into this area too, which if I extend that out, you can see just this general area of right around mid upper 1850s gets respected very, very, very well. And we actually caught a little miniature sell on Friday down to this point and ended up closing out because I believe we're going to see a smaller pullback to make the Monday's daily candle wick on the top. So obviously 90% of all candles have a wick on the top and the bottom. Um, so what I'm expecting is this next candle to create a wick. And what I would expect is that wick to not go higher than this high. If it does, it would do it by a few pips. But I would really expect it to not go higher than that high. And obviously it's going to be higher than the close of the candle. So now this is pretty much the range where I'm looking at, see where is orders, where's liquidity coming in, and so I'm going to go like this. So now I'm looking, okay, this is the high. I don't think it's going to go higher than that. This is the close, so it's obviously going to be higher than this. So within pretty much this structure, and more specifically this right here, where is all the orders coming from? And it looks like they're coming from right around 1850, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the body of this candle right here, and this is going to be the area that I'm looking to take a sell on. Specifically, pretty much just above this line at 1845, but I would like to get in a wick, like if the body candles come up here and then it wicks into 1850s, that would be where I'd like to place my entry. And the stop loss is going to be probably right above here, so a little bit larger stop loss, because the target is like 600 pips. So let me just measure that. Let's say we get an entry at 1849. Yeah, 616 pips down. So even if the stop loss is like 70 pips, like even if the stop loss is right on this high, that is that would be 80 pips. So less, smaller lot size because the risk is a little bit higher. However, the reward is, huge. And if it prints out in a very specific way and we're able to use a smaller lot or a smaller stop loss, then it's possible we have a stop loss right above these highs right here, which obviously then we're talking like a 60 pip stop loss. So we'll see how it prints out and what it all looks like. But I just want to enter. I'm going to move this down here. I really want to enter right around or just under 1850. So I'm gonna move the top of this box to 1850. So, um, simple terms, I want the bodies of the candles to breach above this, and then as price pushes up here in wicks, that's when I want to take the entry, and then hopefully we see this thing continue down. If we look at the 4 hour, I mean, it just looks like it's going to melt. So, in my opinion, it would make sense that the imbalance between right here, I'm just going to put it right there. See how there's no wick has touched this candle yet? So I believe that imbalance is going to be filled, and it just makes sense because it's gold for it to wick above that, just not come right to it, but just come a little bit above it. And yeah, so that's kind of what I'm going to be looking for on gold. with the target. First target will be down in this area, like 1820, 1815, because that's around 300 pips. So that's where we can start to close most of the trade, and then we can let the rest run down to 18 or 1785 for the full target, and from there at 1785, that's where we are going to be buying, and we're going to be swinging that and trending upwards because of the recession. Gold is a safe haven. Typically, a lot of investors take their money out of stocks and out of other risky investments, and they put it into something safe, which is gold. So let's move on to the pound pairs. We have two of those. We're going to start with the pound yen, and then we'll go to the pound Aussie. Now, the pound yen this week has been wild. I mean, look at this weekly candle here. Absolutely ballistic candle. I mean, it opened at 165.5. It pushed down 500 pips, and then it pushed back up 400 pips. Huge movement. Huge movement. So let's look at the 3-day. And what do we see on the 3-day? I see it push up, take this high out, and then it drops all the way down here. And I marked that low, but specifically it took out this low. And we get a lot of respect here and bullish pressure from here. And Friday, yeah, I believe it was Friday, the yen came out with some news, the Bank of Japan, and they said that they're not changing their interest rates, they're keeping them the same, which ultimately is going to keep the yen going down. So, with that in mind, this would continue to go up. Now, if they change that, then the yen would start gaining a lot of strength and then we'd look to short it. But since they said they're not changing rates, and they said a weaker yen is helping their economy because they're just the way the imports and exports work with, like, when they're spending, we're using US dollars to buy them. So um, it for them, specifically for the bank and the economy, it's better for them to have the yen get weaker right now. However, for the people, it's getting harder. So, you know, there's a chance that they might switch up on us, but for now, they said that they're going to keep it the same. So it would make sense then that the yen is going to continue to drop, which would mean that these pairs are going to continue to rise. So if that overall trend continues and they do not change it at all, then we could continue to see this thing climb into the full swing target, as I was saying before, of like 175. So right now, that's going to maintain, that my analysis is going to maintain at the overall swing longs to 175. So let's look for where's the next best buy entry going to be. So right off the bat, the first thing I want to point out is this area that price tapped into, right? It actually spiked this high out very slightly. This is a daily area where there's lots of sell orders being placed. As you can see here on this candle, we have a very small wick and then price just completely drained from that. So there's lots of sell orders in this area, and as you can see, it's been fulfilled, right? It had a high of 166.2 and it dropped 130 pips right off the top, and that's how the market closed. So overall, we're looking to take this up, but in this exact moment, it looks like there's a lot of sell pressure taking place. So what I would like to see is this daily high. I forgot to point that out before I moved the time frame. I have this daily high um, marked right here. I want to see price come back down to this area and maybe even slightly below it. Um, so what is that going to look like? We go to the 4-hour. What I would expect to see is, first I'm going to adjust this. One second. As you can see, this body and this wick right here. This is why my zone is where it is, and as you can see, that is pretty much very well respected. So with the thought in mind that we want to see price come down to this 163.8 level that I have marked right here, um, where could we sell it from then? And simply put, just right above this high right here, right? If it's going to come down here, I'm not expecting it to really like hang out up here and relax, right? I think it's going to come up here and drop. It's going to get the buy orders, maybe come lower than there, and then we'll let it set up when it gets down here, and then we can take the buy to the upside. So let's look at that. We're going to go all the way into the 30-minute time frame. And this pattern happens a lot on the pound yen. So for example, right here we have a high, price pulls into the high, doesn't break it, and then it continues to push down. Whereas I just had another really good example. Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Oh yeah, right here. So see this huge push up, and then obviously this isn't exactly the same, but we see it drop, and then it kind of pushes back up into that higher area, and then it drains. And it did that again right here, right? We push up, it drops, and if we mark the 4-hour wicks, right, it just snaps up just a little bit right here, and then it drops, right? But as you can see in this instance, what we were trading last week, we were actually selling and buying these. We bought in right here. That was a huge swing. That was awesome. Um, it's only dropping to grab more buy orders, dropping again right into this area, and then it takes off. So that's what I'm expecting, and this drop really could. I want to see it come under this level, but I would really be interested in seeing a hit right down here um, before it starts actually turning around. So I'm just going to mark that and delete that line. So this is really going to be the target, is right down here, right around 162 point, just pretty much under or around 163. And that's going to be around 200 pips, right? If we were able to catch a sell, we'll go to the 5-minute time frame. Okay. Um, if we look at all of these sell orders, there's a lot of sell orders right there. And let me push it to the top right there. So there's actually a lot of sell orders right there, which ultimately makes me believe we really don't have to go like all the way up here again, right? We just got to spike up here to make a wick on the daily time frame. And so what I'm going to be looking for is a quick sell entry right above this area, or right above this level, with a target of essentially 163, like I said. Stop loss is going to be probably around 50 pips, so that's a 1 to 5 risk to reward. So if you risk $10, your $50 reward, and you can scale that up or down. Maybe the entry will be a little bit higher like this. I would love the stop loss to be like right up in this high, because that's where I'm expecting it to not go to. However, this structure is a very beautiful sell-off structure. So definitely looking to take a pound yen short from here to here, and like I said, um, from down in this area, like I want to see something like this. See how we got the bottom, it pushes up like crazy, it ends up selling off, and it chops around for a little bit, and then we continue on. So I'd like to see that happen right here, and then have it push up this way. So I want to see that huge drop, and then maybe push up and then drop again, and then we start trending upwards for a few weeks. And if you look at this candle right here, look at how small the wick is on this before it dumped. And that's kind of like what I'm expecting here. As you can see, this is the line that I want to see the wick just barely come up above, and it's really not that big. So it's pretty similar to that. And yeah, so simply just looking to sell that down into there. Then we'll wait for it to set up, and we can maybe take a buy, and we'll cross those bridges when we come to it. That's it for the pound yen. I'll go over the pound Aussie, but real quick, I wanted just to show you on the gold. So we're looking to sell in this area, right? Fibonacci from the top to the bottom. That's right on the 0.618 fib. And if I throw on the VWAP from when it started selling right here, that's right around mid upper VWAP. So everything lines up. All right, if I stack everything on, if I delete this zone, we can see we have the VWAP, we have the Fibonacci, we have the structural level, and everything's lining up for a sell right around this area. So that is definitely what we're going to be doing. And lastly, we have the pound Aussie. And what I'm expecting here is a upside move, possibly to 1.785. However, the first target is this zone. This is where I'm going to be closing most of the trade. So this is the 3-day time frame. We can see here we got a huge push up. Well, we'll start down here. We got a push down into this area. Wicks, huge push up, pulled back, and then this day dropped even more, and then it closed way up here. So in my opinion, this push up, this move is not done yet, and it's going to continue. And I believe the next 3-day candle will close up in this area right here. So let's go to the daily time frame. And as you can see, price stayed within this wick pretty much. I mean, it made a wick on the bottom of it, but it didn't break that high. So what I'm predicting is that the next daily candle breaks that high. So we'll go to the 4-hour. You know, we're just going to the 30-minute time frame. Oops, we're going to the 30-minute time frame. And this level right here, I feel like price is going to stay above, right? If this thing's about to trend upwards and even just finish off this move right here, I believe that we're not going to break this. So if we're not going to break that and the stop loss is under there, the entry will be right under this area. So I'm expecting a fairly small wick on the downside. I'd like to enter, if we go to the 5-minute time frame, let me paint this out. Let me get this thing. Nope, I don't want that. Right here. See? Look up. Right, we're going to get one more push down into the middle of this area, and then we're going to continue. That is exactly what I'm looking for. So, look at that crazy movement. So, I'm pretty much just looking for a buy opportunity under 1.76, more specifically within the realm of 1.758, somewhere in the 1.758 is where I would like to place the buy entry. And I'm going to move it like this right there. Stop loss under this level, and this is the target, right, which is, you know, nothing crazy, 160 pips. You know, maybe it pushes the full 250. That's possible, but it doesn't have to do that. I'm going to flip the chart and it's going to go inverted. So if you press Alt I, it goes opposite. And if you take a look right here, it's not exactly the same. However, it's pretty similar structure, just the way I see it, as we're grabbing liquidity, we're pushed up, and it's not done pushing up yet. It needs to continue further. So as you can see, even from this point right here to the high, that's 160 pips. So that's kind of what I'm looking for right here, right? I just want to see it snap down and then just push up 160 pips ish, and then we'll close the trade. And then we'll go from there. We'll see the reaction. Does it break that and go here? Then we'll analyze and get a trade. If it doesn't, then possibly we sell it. Waiting for that to happen. But real quick, Bitcoin dropped over the weekend, absolutely tanked 100 pips in 5 minutes. Literally, this is the 5 minute time frame. 100 pips in 5 minutes. Um, what a savage Bitcoin is. So I'm kind of waiting right now. It's getting into the territory of where is it going to bottom out at. And what I'm expecting is ultimately at some point, this is going to retrace back to 23K. And from there, maybe we drop yet again. And we start getting pushed into, like, see, I marked this low right here. That's 16K. We have this high right here. That's 12K. Right, we're getting pretty close to that point now. So we've been shorting this since up here. 3,000 pips. Gorgeous. So kind of like right here. See this area right here? I'd like to see that happen right here. So who knows? I mean, it might even buy up from really close to around this point up to here. And then we sell off again and go to like 15K. It'd be very interesting to see that. See if that happens. I would say if it does not fully break this low, I'm not talking about spike above it and come back up. I mean, or that is what I'm talking about. If it spikes below it, I'm sorry, spikes below it and comes back up, there's a very good chance that this is going to start coming back up to this area. However, if it breaks below it and it keeps going down, we're probably going full speed into like 16,000. That's all I got, guys. So let's have a good week. Enjoy the weekend. And see you next time.